Who's that?
I don't need to tell with you who he man.
There was a guy with his shirt off and you won't show me who it is? He's just a friend?
He's just a friend, Riley. You know, the kind that sends me shirtless photos of himself. Yeah. Now, we've all suspected that Violet's been hiding something, but she may have just been caught out in HD. And I've got a feeling that this is going to send already suspicious Riley spiralling.
You lied.
You always say, I'm lying. I'm not lying. You
show
are
me.
lying.
So show
I don't
me.
need to show you.
You don't need to show me?
I don't need to show you.
Good luck.
Why?
All right, good luck.
What is she hiding? Why is Violet so reluctant to show Riley her phone? Now, before we unpack all the drama and the secrets, let's rewind back to the start of this episode. So we left Violet and Riley last week, both realising that they need to work on their communication with one another. The thing is, that's going to be hard, especially when Riley wants to know more about Violet's past, but Violet has no intention of opening up.
And I had some doubts about if Violet is invested in us as much as I am, but it feels good to know that she's going to take me to meet her family.
Riley's been slowly building a relationship with Violet's kids for a few years, but it's still a huge sign of trust that Violet's bringing Riley home to meet her daughters and also her mum and her younger brother. This is exactly what Riley needed in order to make him feel more secure in their relationship. And it appears as though Violet is making an extra effort with Riley today.
I want to take you go to a serving cloud Vietnamese traditional.
Oh,
yeah.
we're going in here?
Yeah. Are you interesting?
Okay, let's go.
Are you interesting, Riley? Well, I don't know. What do you think, Violet? Is he interesting enough for you? Or do you need to find another man? We'll come back to that shortly. Now look, what's noticeable is it might be baby steps, but if you squint, you can definitely see that these two are making progress in their relationship. Notice how Riley's wearing his knee brace today. He's not embarrassed or ashamed of his injury like he was in the last episode. It seems like he's getting more comfortable around Violet.
I didn't think that you would respect me if you knew that I'm hurt, you know, because I know you like strong men.
It's also interesting that Violet's gone out of her way to make plans for the two of them. It's like she's realised the error of her ways, and now she understands how important it is that they spend time together, face to face. She sees it as her responsibility to immerse Riley and educate him on her culture, as opposed to leaving him alone in his hotel room.
So what are they gonna do? They're gonna make it brand new for me here?
Yes.
Oh.
But after 1 day or 2
1 day?
Yes.
Now, Violet's organised for Riley to get a traditional Vietnamese garment made. Why? It's because he needs to be dressed appropriately for some of the other places that she plans to take him to this week. Now, Riley seems genuinely excited at the prospect of getting these bespoke clothes, but he starts to get a little uncomfortable when Violet begins talking to the tailor, her friend, in Vietnamese. And it soon becomes very clear to Riley that they're speaking about him.
Yêu thì tụi em đang tìm hiểu.
I feel like
Rồi ảnh đang đến Việt Nam để mà
I'm an exhibit
tìm
in the
hiểu
museum right now.
Let me talk with her.
Okay.
You know that saying they're on two different pages? Well, Riley and Violet seem more like they're on different books than on different pages. They're so different. Like Violet says to the tailor, we're just getting to know each other. But Riley is in Vietnam thinking that they're already in a fully committed relationship. It's no wonder that he doesn't feel like she's 100% in this relationship, because maybe she isn't. Now, to an extent, I think that some of this might be attributed to the language barrier between them. But it's also clear that cultural differences play a large role.
120 centimeter your belly. Wow, very big. Yeah, xấu.
What?
I say you ugly, you very bad.
You really said that?
Ouch. So was that an insult, or was that just Vietnamese humour? We know that Violet and Riley, for that matter, both have a very interesting sense of humour. It's not out of character for either of them to insult each other. That's apparently how they show affection to each other. But personally, I think they're using it as an excuse to try and avoid building a deeper connection. Like, we saw that when Violet called Riley fat to his face, he laughed and then swore at her.
120 centimeter your belly. Wow, very big. Oh, your belly double me, you know.
But being called fat is one thing. Being called ugly seems to really affect Riley. He actually gets offended by this. Now, these two are still clearly learning and understanding each other's boundaries. But whether it's down to cultural difference or difference in humour, Violet may have just crossed a line that she didn't even know was there.
You really said that?
Yeah, I really say that.
Are we done? Are we done? We could go?
Yes.
Violet's laughing. She doesn't realise she's upset Riley. She thinks they're joking around like they always do. And I think it's pretty clear that this was a joke. But we know that Riley has a habit of taking comments to heart. Maybe the more Violet gets to know Riley in person, the more mindful she might be of this in the future. But then again, maybe not.
Có thể là người Mỹ á, nhạy cảm hơn chúng tôi. Riley phải vui lên nha. Đến gặp gia đình tôi mà với khuôn mặt vàng vừa nhầu nhĩ mà vừa nhăn nhó như vậy.
Violet makes it clear that this is just Vietnamese humour. So, if Riley intends to be with a Vietnamese lady, he's just going to have to suck it up. He's going to have to grow some thicker skin. But this is just the start of all of their problems today, because on the way out of the fabric store, Violet receives a text message that Riley gets a glimpse of. The message is a photo of a shirtless man, and Riley is understandably rattled by this.
But what friend, he had no shirt. Excuse me, I'm over here.
You want to hear?
I want to see who...
No, it's my friend. Only my friend.
Oh dear, what kind of friends does Violet have that randomly send her shirtless photos of themselves? Now, Riley came to Vietnam already incredibly suspicious of Violet. He thinks she's still talking to men on dating apps. And this may have just confirmed his suspicions. Violet starts by doubling down on her excuse that it's just a friend. But then, getting increasingly defensive, she switches tactic and tells Riley that she doesn't owe him any kind of explanation.
I don't
where?
need to tell with you.
You don't need to tell
Yeah,
me.
it's my private life. I never asked you about when you chatting with a girl.
I never text with a girl and have
I
a girl
never
with a shirt off.
He has a point. Let's assume the worst here, right? Let's assume that Violet is seeing other men. The question is, why are both of them on such different pages about their relationship? Have they ever had a conversation about being exclusive? I mean, she did make him delete his dating app, which kind of implies she expected monogamy from him. It really does appear as though Violet's been caught red-handed. So if he has any self-respect, surely if she doesn't come clean, Riley's got to get the next plane out of Vietnam, right?
She's not sharing information with me. I asked her straight up if she's dealing with someone, and I know what I saw. It's just another thing that I have questions about.
It's got to the point where I'm questioning why Riley's sticking around. He's in a relationship with a woman that he struggles to speak to, who's lying to him about other men, and who he can't even say I love you to. Is this really the type of relationship that you fly halfway around the world for? Surely he could find an equally toxic one back home. I mean, Riley's choice to pine after Violet has me judging him just as much as I'm judging her at this stage.
I don't show you, okay?
Why? Why?
Because it's my life. I have feeling with him. But và đang tìm hiểu. Và tại sao anh có quyền gì anh kiểm tra điện thoại thôi trong khi tôi thấy anh...
Violet maintains that it was a colleague from school who's in a relationship with one of her friends. Now, is that the truth? Well, we might never know. But she said something very important here. What right does he have to check my phone? Violet's setting boundaries on trust. She doesn't want Riley to just check her phone anytime he's feeling insecure. But there may be more to it than just setting boundaries. Riley calls Violet a liar, and when she adamantly denies that she's ever lied to him, he reminds her of a time she lied about getting a visa.
The company visa stay You just reply him, you have visa and then and we are interview new for you. But you don't hear me and you say, oh, I'm lying. I never lie.
Anyone else confused by that? It's never been clearer just how complicated their language barrier is making this relationship. I don't really understand what this issue is, and it's the first time it's been brought up. But Riley calls Violet a liar about this mysterious visa issue, and Violet says she told him exactly what happened, but he just didn't listen. Where does the truth lie? Well, I'm willing to bet that it's a combination of them not understanding each other, and both of them, as a result of being hurt in past relationships, automatically just assuming the worst about each other.
You have so many secrets. You're telling me what to do. I can't say anything. I can't ask you questions. I gotta guess.
You always in a beautiful liar, you.
Riley seems to be the sort of guy that thinks the world is out to get him. To a guy like that, everyone's a cheat. Now, Violet, on the other hand, doesn't ever want to be accountable to anyone ever again. Her toxic marriage made sure of that. The thing is, they're both wrong, but they don't have the communication skills to see it and address the issue properly. Violet attempts to explain why she doesn't think she needs to show Riley her phone.
In Vietnam, when we are in married, we don't keep a private flight, okay? No, we are not. You don't need to show me anything.
This idea of a private life seems to be a cultural misunderstanding. I imagine dating in Vietnam is likely very different to dating in America. Until they're married, Violet doesn't think that Riley has any right to inquire about her private life. But, of course, in Western culture, that is an expectation when you're in a relationship. So where do they go from here? Well, after initially storming off, Riley returns. He explains that he doesn't want to cancel his plans to meet Violet's family. So, for now at least, this issue of the shirtless man is just put on pause.
I'm willing to put that text situation to the side right now, but it's not settled. We definitely need to revisit this.
This is becoming a pattern with these two. Violet has this evasive personality. She clearly doesn't like to have difficult conversations. And Riley, well, he's always putting things that bother him to the side. He doesn't seem to want to ruffle any feathers. But the man just saw his girlfriend receive a picture of another man shirtless, and he doesn't want to ruffle feathers. It's really bizarre. In fact, it's worse than that. It's really pathetic. This is precisely where Riley has to draw a line in the sand. He needs answers here. But instead, he shifts his focus to worrying about what Violet's family are going to think of him.
Có bác Riley đấy thăm nhà. Hello. Là trời.
Hey, hello.
Oh.
Oh my God, bye.
You told her that I...
Now, Riley says that no matter what just happened between them, he cares about Violet's family, so he wants to make a good impression. But it soon becomes apparent that Riley didn't adequately prepare for meeting an Asian family.
Thì ở Việt Nam thì mình người rể mà muốn tới làm rể, người đàn ông muốn đến làm rể gia đình của người con gái đó thì ít nhất phải mua quà ra mắt.
He showers both of Violet's daughters with gifts, but he's brought nothing for her mother. That's a big faux pas. I mean, even in the West, when you meet someone's parents for the first time, you probably bring some flowers, a bottle of wine, or a box of chocolates. It's abundantly clear from her reaction that Violet's mum isn't impressed. But maybe Violet should have prepared him. Perhaps she should have communicated to Riley, that big word again, what exactly her mum was expecting. Either way, this dinner is not off to the best start, and now Violet's mum has questions.
Okay, she wants to know if my temper will change. I want to be good to Violet. I just don't like being lied to.
Now, we haven't really seen Riley's hot temper yet, but it has been mentioned a few times, which is a cause for alarm. Violet's mum says that she's seen Violet crying on the phone multiple times because of Riley's temper, and she wants to know if he's going to be able to control it. Now, at this point, Riley thinks it's a good idea to, in a roundabout kind of way, call Violet a liar in front of her whole family. It's a bizarre move, and unsurprisingly, Violet's daughters immediately spring to their mum's defence.
But the word liar is too heavy and a little bit respect.
Tôi có vô vòng mà như vậy, vô vòng rồi cho má thấy con chắc con khổ vậy ông này.
This dinner is an absolute disaster. Violet's mum feels disrespected, and Violet's daughters find Riley's accusations about their mum disrespectful too. For someone who was so keen to make a good impression, this is going badly. So what can he do to turn this around? To his credit, Riley does appear to be willing to listen to Violet's daughters. He acknowledges his mistakes, and in doing so, the vibes at the dinner table begin to relax a little.
I will do my best to believe in her more, to believe in Violet more, and work on being together.
Riley definitely needs to channel more of this positive energy. He needs to not be so suspicious all the time. But Violet also needs to realise that while she may be Vietnamese, she's dating an American. She's going to need to afford him a little more flexibility. She's going to need to open up while they're learning to trust one another. One thing is for sure though, this won't be the last that we hear of Mr. Shirtless.